Today I'm going to be answering a very common dreadlock question. Can you remove them without cutting your hair? The answer to this question can be of utmost importance to people who are considering starting dreadlocks. It's all fine and well to grow your hair out, even to knot it up, but it's kind of scary to have to consider going from lots of hair to no hair once situations change and maybe they just have to go. So today I'm going to be demonstrating how to go from dreadlocks to no locks. Now to demonstrate this, I'm obviously going to need a dreadlock to unlock. Now I don't actually know anyone with dreadlocks who wants them removing, and possibly that's a good thing, that no one wants their dreadlocks removed. I had considered demonstrating the technique on this dreadlock trimming here. This is a real dreadlock, it's made from real hair. It was forming for 2 years, but it kind of lacks realism in that it is not attached to a head, and I didn't want people to think that only young dreadlocks can be removed. I know this is a mature dreadlock at 2 years, but I don't want people to think that there is a point of no return, an age of dreadlock after which they could not be removed. So I'm going to sacrifice some dreadlock length for demonstration purposes. I'm going to remove this section of dreadlock. I'm going to return it to normal hair. So you will be able to see that even old, fully mature dreadlocks can be unlocked. What are you going to need for dreadlock removal? Conditioner. You're going to need some hair conditioner. The brand is pretty much up to you. You're going to want some pretty heavy duty hair conditioner. Detangler, whatever you want to use to lubricate the hairs and soften them up so that you can remove the knots. You're also going to need some hot water, so I have a glass of hot water here. When you're playing with hair conditioner and water, you're going to need a towel. If you're doing a whole head of dreadlocks, if you're removing all your dreadlocks, you're probably going to need quite a lot of towels. I'm only removing part of the one, so I just need the one towel. And you're also going to need something for the actual removing. Now, some people will use a brush. I don't use a brush. I personally find the brush to be quite rough. It's not as precise as what I use, which is a large sewing needle. I basically use a large sewing needle as a one-toothed comb. It is obviously quite slow going, but it is the most accurate, and I find the least likely to break hairs and therefore the least damaging way that I have come across to remove dreadlocks. Okay, the dreadlock removal process itself. Sorry, Dread, you have been chosen. I'm only going to be unlocking this end section of dreadlock. I could use the technique to unlock the entire length of dreadlock, but because it is the same technique the whole way up, there would be nothing extra to gain from removing anything extra, and I would lose a whole dreadlock, and that would not be good. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is soak it in hot water. I will say that this is definitely something that is easier to do if you have a friend to help. Just like putting in dreadlocks is easier done with a friend to work on the bits that you can't see, removing them is pretty much the same deal. Then I'm going to get my hair conditioner and massage it into the dreadlock. Now, if you are removing a whole head of dreadlocks, you are going to need quite a lot of hair conditioner. The more conditioner that you can get in there, the better. It's going to soften the dreadlock up, it's going to make them easier to brush out. Once it's all soaked up with conditioner and softened, you're going to want to start at the tip and just pick it out. So you're going to slowly brush out the dreadlock. If you're coming across resistance, if you're finding that you can't easily get the needle through, you'll want to go further towards the tip. Here I'm not having much trouble getting the needle to go through the dread because I'm only unpicking a few knots at a time. If I, for instance, tried to brush out from much further down here, it gets stuck. And if it gets stuck and I pull too hard, then I'm going to risk breaking hairs and losing hairs. What you will find, especially if you're doing a whole head of dreadlocks, is that you're going to get a lot of loose hair coming out. So you see this on my needle? Got loose hair here. You're going to end up with a lot of that regardless of how gentle you are. The older the dreadlocks, the more that you're going to get. When you have normal hair, undreadlocked hair, you're going to be having hairs falling off all the time, getting stuck in your hairbrush, getting stuck in your drain. When you have dreadlocks, hairs that would otherwise normally just fall off and fall out and disappear into the world, they stay trapped inside the dreadlock. They don't go anywhere. However, when you then come to remove the dreadlocks, all those hairs that would have otherwise fallen out and are just kind of stuck inside the dreadlock, they are going to come loose once you start removing the dreadlock, and so you're going to have a big pile of loose hair to throw out. I just thought I'd put that out there so that if you are coming across a lot of loose hair when you're picking out a dreadlock, it's normal. Now with this demonstration, I don't want to give anyone the impression that dreadlocks are a simple put in, take out kind of thing. Dreadlocks are a very slow process. It takes a lot of time to start them, it takes a long time for them to form and mature, and as you can see here, it takes a long time to take them out. So while it is possible to take them out, it's certainly no sort of quick in and out thing. As we move further up, going to need more water and conditioner. It is important to keep the hair sort of nice and wet and nice and soaked with conditioner to give you the least amount of friction possible. Makes it so much easier to take them out. Now, an obvious safety precaution when working with a needle, try not to stab yourself. You are going to be using the needle for a very long time, so it is kind of hard to keep your concentration level sufficient to not stab yourself, and your hands are also going to be all slippery with hair conditioner and water, so it is quite likely that during the course of removing multiple dreadlocks you will kind of end up pricking yourself with the needle. And let me tell you, it is not fun to get hair conditioner in a wound. So there we go. That is how you can remove dreadlocks without cutting your hair. Look, I can even get my fabulous pink tangle teaser through this now unlocked hair. A few things of note for people considering unlocking their dreadlocks. Although you can unlock fully matured dreadlocks, the older the dreadlock, to a certain extent, the harder it is to remove them. Dreadlocks don't really get much tighter beyond a certain point, so once they're fully mature, that's about as tight as they're going to get. I could have left this bit of hair for another 10 years, it would have been further away from my head, but it wouldn't be that much harder to unlock. But it is, of course, a lot easier to remove much younger dreadlocks, so dreadlocks that are only a week, a month, a few months old are going to be far easier to unlock than dreadlocks that are a few years old. Obviously, it is a lot easier to remove shorter dreadlocks than longer dreadlocks because there's less to unlock, and it can be more difficult to remove dreadlocks that have been crocheted, and it is certainly more difficult to remove dreadlocks that have got wax inside of them. That is my how to remove dreadlocks without cutting your hair video. If you liked it, if it was useful, if you enjoyed it, click the thumbs up so I know it was helpful to you. If you have any questions, comments, queries regarding dreadlocks in general, removing of dreadlocks, anything you want to ask me, you can leave it in the comment section here, or you can tweet me at twitter.com/lazy_dreads. You can join the Facebook page at facebook.com/lazydreads, and as always, you can find all my content on lazydreads.com. If you'd like to see more videos from me in the future, you can of course subscribe and then they will be sent to you. But I'd like to thank you guys for watching. I hope to see you again soon. Farewell!